Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. And the number one question I get asked all the time, all across the nation from patriots is simply this: what can I do? I mean, I know the problem. Knowledge is not the issue. I want to do something. What can I do to make a real difference in the life of our nation? And if that's you, you need to meet someone I consider to be the single most inspiring conservative activist out there today who's making a huge difference for our nation. And that's the one and only Scott Presler. Scott is a master organizer and get out the vote campaigner who, frankly, I got to tell you, he puts the RNC, the Republican National Committee leadership, to shame. In fact, our good friend Seb Gorka just tweeted out the other day, Scott Presler does more in a week to win elections than the RNC does in a year. He's just coming off a huge win in Louisiana, and he's here to tell us more about what's in store for this November. We got a number of gubernatorial, legislative, and state Supreme Court elections coming up just weeks away, all in preparation for 2024. So, Scott, welcome. It's such an absolute honor to have you here on this channel.
No, thank you, doctor. Someone alerted me to a YouTube video you had done, and you said, Scott, come to Pennsylvania. And I was like, doctor, I'm already here in the state. So I'm so happy to make this connection.
It's my honor. It really is, and I'm so excited to see you in the Keystone State. For those who don't know you, can you just give us a quick backstory on how you got involved in political activism?
Yes, I'll try to be brief. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Scott Presler. I am the son of a retired Navy captain. I am that long haired Eagle Scout. And in 2021, I received the Ronald Reagan Award for Freedom at CPAC. But I owe my political beginnings to none other than President Obama. The day that he was reelected in 2012, I created my Twitter account that night. And I realized that I was a part of the problem because I wasn't the solution. I wasn't
Mm.
knocking on doors. I wasn't registering voters. I wasn't getting out the vote. Now, you can't see them, but I'm wearing cowboy boots right now because my first ever job was helping to elect now Governor Greg Abbott in the great state of Texas. I never wanted Hillary Clinton to set foot in that White House ever again. And Pennsylvania helped deliver Donald J. Trump as the 45th president of the United States. Now, my life was changed forever by President Trump because he was talking about the city of Baltimore, Maryland, and he had some kind of choice words talking about the city. But again, I was reminded that look, everybody on social media, doctor, was talking about Baltimore. They were tweeting about Baltimore. They were pointing out the problem of the city, but nobody was offering a hand up. And I said, I'm going to Baltimore. And so, with 200 volunteers on a Monday, we picked up 12 tons of trash in
I
12 hours,
remember that
one
very
single
well.
day. And I just thought to myself more broadly, guys, this is why I'm a Republican. Because I don't believe in big government solving our problems. I believe in concerned citizens coming together as a family and we can do it ourselves. I'm almost done. 2020 happened. It was soul crushing. It was awful. And I said, Scott, you're going to dedicate your next 2 years to helping win back control of Congress. Well, we won back the House, but it wasn't a red tsunami. It wasn't the resounding repudiation of the Democratic Party and Joe Biden that it should have been. And in part, it's because we all waited to vote on one day. The machines in Arizona went down on one day. It snowed in
Mhm.
Nevada on election day. We ran out of paper ballots in Luzerne County, Pennsylvania on election day. My argument is that if we wait to vote on one day in November of 2024, then Joe Biden has already won re-election.
Mm,
That's why I
mhm.
launched my organization, Early Vote Action. I am focused on Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. And if we win those 5 states, if we have a robust get out the vote operation that also includes an all of the above approach to voting, we will win in 2024. And Dr. Steve Turley, that is why I'm here on your show today.
That's so awesome, Scott. And speaking of a huge victory, I mean, you're coming off the cuff of one. You were involved in the Louisiana gubernatorial
Yes.
election. Well, they had a number of them. It was Attorney General Jeff Landry. He won big, huge, but also Vincent Cox. He's the new state representative, Republican, who won in a +8 Biden district, and he won by like 30 points. It was an absolute landslide. You were on the front of that amazing victory, and that's when I give you that much deserved shout out. What do you see as the big takeaways from that decisive win?
This really, guys, was huge. I mean, I want to put it in perspective to people that don't know Louisiana or Louisiana politics. They have jungle primaries. So that election that we had, that wasn't a general election, that was a primary. And how it works is we had 15 candidates running, 1 5, 15. And if you get 50% of the vote plus one on the day of the primary, you're elected governor
Yeah.
outright. And not only was the election a primary with 15 candidates on a Saturday in October, but we also had LSU playing football at Tiger Stadium versus Auburn and Baton Rouge. So you had all these different things that kind of usually means that elections go to a runoff. And despite all of those factors, Jeff Landry was elected with over 51% of the vote on Saturday, October 14th. And in part, get this. You know how my organization was called Early Vote Action, and I was pushing people to vote early or vote by mail, just lock in their votes? Well, here's the interesting part. So Bell Edwards, who was the Democrat governor that was termed out, he in 2019, the Democrats won early voting 44% to 41%. This year in 2023, Republicans won early voting 44% to 41%.
Wow.
In part, our victory was due to people knowing it's on a Saturday. There's a football game. Maybe I'm a trucker or a pilot or police officer or firefighter, or maybe I have a job that's keeping me out of town. The fact of the matter is Republicans won early voting, and that in part propelled us to victory on Saturday, October 14th for Governor-elect Jeff Landry.
If there wasn't that early voting effort, we'd be going to a runoff, wouldn't we?
Absolutely.
That's the sense you're getting. That we would not have had that 51% victory.
And it played a role. It played a role.
Yeah.
And we were making that a critical component of our win. But, furthermore, people are always talking about minority voters and the Black community, especially with Joe Biden, and how, especially with the Democrat Party choosing illegal immigrants over the Black community. Is that going to play a role in 2024 and what happens? Well, I know this is one election, and this is in 2023, and we have yet to see what happens this November, but get this. So, Shreveport is in Caddo Parish, Louisiana. They made history last year because for the first time in decades, Shreveport, which is majority Black, majority minority, they elected a Republican mayor last year in Shreveport. And the interesting thing is, some people are probably thinking, okay, this is a flash in the pan, they elected a Republican mayor, so what? Well, Shreveport, this majority minority, majority Black parish, voted for Jeff Landry for governor.
Wow.
And furthermore, if you look at all the votes, there were 46,000 votes, and I'm a data guy. 25,000 voters of those 46,000 in Caddo Parish chose a Republican candidate. A majority minority parish had a majority of voters that chose a Republican. That shows a realignment. That shows that the Democrat Party and Black voters are rejecting Democratic policies, and they are resoundingly choosing Republican conservative policies.
You were on Tim Pool the other night, and you were talking about the 30 and below vote, the young vote. Did you have any data from that with Louisiana?
Not yet. Not yet. It's going to take a couple weeks for that data to come in. And also what I'm going to be looking at is we have focused heavily on not just focusing on voters that are already registered to vote like you and me. We're focused on growing the electorate. So my volunteers that are going to be watching the Dr. Steve Turley show, I just want to say thank you to all the people, the hundreds of you that wrote thousands of handwritten letters to new movers in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. And Louisiana.
You forget where you are. You're always at a different spot. I notice in the interviews. It's great.
Well, I still know where I am. I'm not Joe Biden. I haven't gotten to that point just yet. But to my credit, I'm in Pennsylvania, guys.
That's
anyway,
right.
We wrote thousands of letters to new movers in Louisiana. That's somebody that has moved to the state, so they need to get registered to vote. They need to get registered as a Republican, and ultimately we need to get them out to vote. So when I get that data for the state, I'm going to be looking at how many of those people that voted in the election were new and were registered Republicans, and that's
Mhm.
going to give me an idea of how effective we and my organization have been.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Well, and we've got some incredible polls coming out showing Trump with 19-20% support among black voters, totally unprecedented for a Republican. New York Times ran that rather panicked piece a couple of weeks back that found that Biden's polling among black and Hispanic Democrats is actually the worst since Walter Mondale in 1984, and you saw comparable dynamics in Louisiana. I'm curious, what what do you think? Will that translate into comparable results in, say, like a swing state like Georgia, and that's at least in the general area of Louisiana? Is Louisiana an indicator of comparable electoral dynamics in Georgia, in your opinion?
I think the messaging, what is going to be relatable to the black community? I think it's Republican values: faith, family, finance, freedom.
Mhm.
Faith, family, finance, freedom. And
Mhm.
also, I mean, look at crime. In every
Yeah.
major democratic city in America, you will find rising crime. You will
Right.
find rising violent crime. The black community wants safe communities as much as we do.
Right.
They want to be
Right.
able to raise a family and not have to worry about their family getting hurt, right?
Right.
And what do Democrat policies promote? Democrat policies promote lawlessness. They promote criminals being back on the streets within 24 hours due to criminal district attorneys that aren't going to charge them or hold them accountable for their actions, right?
Well, yeah,
So
they're the new victims. That's right. Yeah.
well, and furthermore, just I really want to hone in on this, and I talked about this on Tim Pool last night, especially with young people. What did we hear from Joe Biden last night?
Yep.
Joe Biden basically said, "We are going to war." He basically said, "We're putting boots on the ground." He said, "We're the
Yeah.
democracy arsenal." Did anybody pick up on
Yeah.
those two key words? So, to any young person that's watching this, that's watching the Dr. Steve Turley show, a vote for Democrats and a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for you, for
Yep.
young people to go to war.
Yep. 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 Absolutely. I mean, we're what Tim brought it up. I mean, we're that close to. I mean, that draft talk is right there, and young 20-year-olds, you're the first ones to get shipped off. So, a vote for Biden's a vote for war. I love it. Yeah. I mean, it's so true with Trump. It was peace abroad, prosperity at home. With Biden, it's war abroad and depression at home. It's just
And
it's 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 a
the
no brainer.
well, and I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but the juxtaposition between President Trump's administration and Joe Biden's could not
Right.
be clearer.
Yeah.
From, like you said, peace with Trump to war with Joe Biden, the border having the least amount of illegal immigrants coming across it since its
Right.
inception versus
Right.
Joe Biden when we have millions of people coming illegally, from
Yeah.
the economy being booming under President Trump to inflation from gas, from the food prices being unaffordable. I mean, there is nothing
There's
that could
no.
be more palpable between these two administrations right now.
Ah, couldn't agree more. Let's talk about what you're doing in Pennsylvania. You're doing an amazing
Yes.
thing in Pennsylvania. Tell us about the Supreme Court election that's coming up there.
Oh my gosh, guys, this is so important. I mean, I spent a month in Wisconsin trying to get people to give a gosh darn care about the Supreme Court race, which we
Yeah,
lost.
we
We
lost. Yep.
lost, and the court, which was conservative, is now liberal.
Yep.
And we are now reaping the consequences of a liberal flipped court. They're not taking it lightly. They're not playing moderate. On day one, they started acting like liberals as soon as
Yeah.
Janet Protasewicz was installed on the court. And so I'm here. I feel like I feel like I'm riding around on horseback, knocking on every door, trying to warn everybody the commies are coming, and nobody's listening to me. Honestly, sometimes it feels like that, and that's why I'm thankful for people like you, Doctor, because you're giving me a voice, you're giving me a platform to speak to people that I normally wouldn't be able to talk to. But you live in Pennsylvania, or you live in the area. To any Pennsylvanian that remembers under what it was like under dictator Governor Wolf, what did he
Yeah.
do? He shut down the schools. He shut down the churches. He shut down businesses. He was forcing vaccinations, or at least punishing you or coercing you if you were not doing so. He put COVID positive patients into nursing homes, killing off Pennsylvanians, our elderly. We know that the Democrats are so desperate that they will pull any measure in order to gain power or keep
That's right.
power. We saw Congressman Jamal Bowman pull a fire alarm to get his way for the Democrats. Is it possible that under Democratic Governor Shapiro, he will implement any policy necessary in order for Pennsylvania to vote for Joe Biden in 2024? Yes, it is. And that's why it's important. If you don't want mask mandates again, if you don't want the lockdowns, if you don't want the authority of Governor Shapiro to do whatever he wants, then vote for Judge Carolyn Carluccio. Judge Carolyn Carluccio to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court on Tuesday, November 7th. And if you're not going to be in town, you go to your elections office and you vote early in
Right.
person. Yes, we do have mail-in voting that you can vote early in person at your elections office. You don't have to put it into a drop box. You don't have to put it into the United States Postal Service because I know many of you don't trust the mailman. Go hand in
Right.
glove and give your mail-in ballot in person to your elections office and lock in your vote. But this election this November for Judge Carolyn Carluccio is consequential.
And when's the last day to register for it?
Oh, Monday the 23rd.
Okay. All right. All right.
Like
So we got to
literally
get.
October 23rd, this upcoming Monday. Guys, if you were not registered to vote, I want you to please go to pavoterservices.pa.gov. Again, that's pavoterservices.pa.gov, and register to vote online today. It is so easy. And make sure that you're registered as a Republican. Because number one, we want to decrease the Democrat advantage here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. But number two, we are a closed primary state. And so if you have a favorite president and a favorite party that you want to support, then you must be registered with that party in order to vote for your favorite presidential candidate.
You're on the front lines too of the voter registration
Yeah.
drives there. I mean, Shapiro, the new governor there, he mandated automatic voter registration. You're directing that decisively to a Republican advantage. Can you give us a sense of the state of things there for voter registration?
Well, I want to address AVR, the automatic voter registration. A lot of conservatives warrant it. I want to make this very clear. I understand their thought process and being cognizant that when Governor Shapiro implements a policy like this, why would he be doing it otherwise than to help Democrats, right?
Sure.
Now, despite the fact that we now have automatic voter registration in Pennsylvania, I've been following the data very closely. And in the last 3 weeks, we have seen 7,000 approximately. I don't have the number at the top of my head, but basically 7,000 Republicans to 3,500 Democrats. We're
It was
seeing
2-1. Yeah.
margin
Yeah.
statewide in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So that means that despite AVR being in place, we're still out registering not only Democrats, but we're also out registering Republicans as well. And I'll tell you that I'm here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania right now. I'm in Allegheny County, and I'm going to get to that in a second. Tomorrow, I'm going to be at Allegheny again. Then on Sunday, I'm in Erie County. Then on Monday, I am ending the Pennsylvania voter registration by going to Penn State College in Center County at State College. And I've got a sign with me that has Joe Biden as Uncle Sam, and he's pointing, and it says, Joe Biden wants you to go to war.
Well,
I'm
that's
bringing
good.
this message to the young people. We're going to be making sure that any kid that is not registered to vote in Pennsylvania, because they might be from Ohio, they might be from Iowa, California, they can register to vote here in Pennsylvania. And I'm going to be trying to lock in every last vote before the 23rd deadline.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Weren't you doing voter registration at gas stations when the gas prices were up sky high?
Well, the gas prices are still
yes, comparatively, of course. Yeah.
Thank you, Joe Biden. But yes, guys, oh my gosh, gas station voter registration. Go to Bass Pro Shop. Go to Home Depot. Not only can you register voters, but you can find a husband there. There are so many opportunities. There are so many opportunities for us to be registering voters, and I just want Republicans to take advantage of it. Amish. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We got 80,000 Amish, y'all. We got 80,000 truckers. Go to a truck stop. Register people to vote. We have 930,000 hunters. Pennsylvania is winnable. I
Yeah,
promise you.
absolutely. Are you just off the top of my head? Are you familiar with the organization Free PA?
Yes. Oh, I'm a
Yeah.
big fan.
Okay. Great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for the PPA.
Yeah. They got great networking, and they help pass referendum that ended mask mandates once and for all back in 2021, if I recall.
That
First
was
one.
big. That was
Yeah, it was
big,
huge.
limiting the
Yeah,
power of the governor.
you got it. You got well. My you two are teaming up together. Gee, I mean, no stopping you guys. Scott, tell us a little bit about some of the other big elections that are coming up. We got Kentucky, that currently, like Louisiana, has a Democrat. Although I did see David Cameron's within two in one of the recent polls that came out. Tell us about what's going on in some of these other elections.
Yes, I saw that too. I'll be brief. So Kentucky
There's so
has,
much. I know.
has a Democratic governor, and look, I mean, Mitch McConnell's health is not in the best shape right now, and I want to be clear. I want everyone to live a long, healthy, sustaining life. I want Mitch McConnell the best for him and his family. But the fact of the matter is, if for some reason he were forced to retire, by law, the Democratic governor
Sure.
would be the
Yeah.
one appointing his replacement. And furthermore, that Democratic governor has said overtly, has spoken and said that he would not follow the law.
Right.
So if you at home want a Republican president next year and to defeat Joe Biden, and more importantly, to give that Republican president a Republican Senate that he or she can work with, then winning the governorship and electing Daniel Cameron is consequential,
Yeah.
can have an impact on who is in control of the United States Senate in 2024. So we all must support Daniel Cameron for governor of Kentucky.
That's wonderful. And then you've got some legislative elections
New
in Virginia,
Jersey.
New
New
Jersey. Yeah.
Jersey, Democratic Governor Murphy has a trifecta state government. He can
Yeah.
pass whatever he wants, right? And look at what's happening right now. The Democratic Party is toxic, especially in New Jersey. Senator Bob Menendez, Democrat, he has been indicted for bribery. Allegedly he's been receiving gold bars and lining his clothes and with pockets of money. I don't know who doesn't do that. I thought it was kind of normal to just accept gold bars from foreign countries,
Right.
but
Right. Right. Nothing to see here. Move on. Yeah.
no, I mean, it's normal. But if you're unhappy with the shape of New Jersey, if you're unhappy with the property taxes, and that everything is unaffordable, then oh my gosh, make a plan to vote and flip your General Assembly Republican this November, flip the state Senate Republican this November, and Democratic Governor Murphy won't be able to pass reckless and
Right.
dangerous legislation in that state. No, I live in Virginia. I voted early in person. My vote has already been cast. I voted for all of my Republican candidates in person with Ma and Dad because I knew that I was going to be here in Pennsylvania. And I didn't want to have to worry about what if the weather was terrible and I couldn't drive home or I couldn't fly
Right.
home and Pete Buttigieg canceled my flight. That is a real possibility. And so, therefore, I locked in my vote early because if we pick up 2 state Senate seats in the Commonwealth of Virginia, then we will give Governor Glenn Youngkin, a Republican governor that was elected in 2021, despite
Yeah.
Obama having turned Virginia blue since 2008. We will have an entirely Republican
Trifecta.
controlled
Yep.
legislature
Yep.
trifecta in
Yep.
Virginia.
Attorney General, a lieutenant, governor. It's astonishing. What a way! And again, I love your strategizing here. What a way to set up for
Yes.
2024. Everyone's
Yes.
thinking about 2024. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Wait a minute. We've got something
Hello.
right here, right now. Yeah, yeah.
And guys, that puts Virginia in play. Like,
Play. Yeah.
if you want to defeat Joe Biden and if you want to elect a Republican, what would be cooler than having the Democrats have to spend cash and burn money in
Wow.
Virginia that they never thought they would have to do before?
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
See, I got
Absolutely.
strategy, babe. I got the hair, I got the boots, I got strategy. I'm ready.
You're bringing the game. That's for sure. You're obviously on the front lines of getting good, solid Republicans elected all over the nation. And I don't want to put you on the spot. You're a very nice person, but you're also you're honest, you're forthright. What is your assessment, if I may ask, of RNC chairwoman Ronna McDaniel and her uh, ground game, if there is one, particularly for these elections coming up in just a few weeks from now?
Well, I appreciate that the RNC is following my lead, our
Good.
lead. Earlyvoteaction.com was born in January of 2023. I know the RNC has its Bank Its Vote initiative, and I'm so glad that they were inspired by the work that we have done at Early Vote Action. And I'm glad that we were able to push through policy that the RNC sees as valuable. So, Chairwoman, I'm glad that you see value in the work that I do, because I do believe that imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery. And but the fact of the matter is, the RNC is raising resources and money that at our organization, Early Vote Action, we do not have.
Hmm.
And Democrats are committing $20 million to a voter registration operation. We don't have, and by we I mean the GOP, the RNC. They don't have any staffers on the ground in Arizona right now,
Mm.
the most
Wow.
important swing state. They don't have staffers in Pennsylvania right now. And my question is, really respectfully to the RNC, what are you spending all this money on? We're a year away from the most decisive, important election of our lives. Why do we not have people on the ground doing voter contact in Arizona, Georgia, Nevada,
Yeah.
North Carolina, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire? Why don't we have people on the ground? And so, if you're listening to the show right now, do see value in my work, do see value in my passion, and understand that I have the tools to make it happen, but I'm only one person. Then please go to earlyvoteaction.com and you can sign up as a volunteer, support my work.
Awesome. And we'll have the link down below for you guys to click on and do exactly that. Scott, also just a personal question, because you're amazing. Um, do you get discouraged? With like so little support from the Republican establishment. Conservatives tend to be naysayers by nature, it seems, because we live in such a liberal world. Well, it's dying. We're moving, I think, into a very different world now where conservatism will thrive. But do you get discouraged? And if so, what keeps driving you? How do you turn discouragement into drive?
At times I'm working so hard. I'm working my tail off. I mean, I'm living out of my car. I have oatmeal and quinoa and Red Bull, like literally in the back of my car, like a supermarket that I go to every morning. And it's just like, when I'm working this tirelessly and people say, Scott, it's rigged, or Scott, it's the machines, or Scott, I don't matter, I don't count, my vote isn't going to do anything, that is a little discouraging to me. But then, I think of myself, and I'm not saying that to get a pat on the back, but look at me. My story should inspire others that I'm just this guy. I'm just a private citizen, and look at what I've been able to do. And if you at home have ever felt any inkling, some semblance of wanting to change the world and do what's right and do what's good and honorable and just, then I beg you to take action. Even if it's writing a letter to the editor, even if it's registering your mom to vote, even if it's making sure that she has a mail in ballot, even if it's making sure that you're an election day worker to make sure that we have fair and free, safe and secure elections. I encourage you, do something,
Right.
anything. Because imagine if 330 American citizens all did an act of love or an act of service, we could transform this country for the better. I believe that.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Again, how can people keep up with your work and get more involved with what you're doing?
I am on every social media known to mankind. You can find me at Scott Presler, SCOTTPRESLER, one S in Presler. And you can also go to my organization, my website, earlyvoteaction.com. Last thing, super important. I'm here in
Absolutely.
Allegheny County for a reason, because we have a county executive race right now that is tied. Please, I urge you, I beg you, Joe Rocky for county executive here in Allegheny County. I launched a 10,000 letter writing campaign that we have already recruited 500 voters for. 500 times 5 is 2,500 letters right there. If I recruit 2,000 volunteers at 5 letters a pop, we will hit our 10,000 letter goal, going to low propensity Republicans that live in Allegheny County. By the way, there are 47,000 low propensity voters. So if I get more than 2,000 volunteers, wonderful. We'll be able to write to even more of those low propensity voters. And let me tell you, Allegheny County is the second largest county in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It is blue, it is Democratic. If we flip this county executive seat and elect Joe Rockey, that is going to spell and indicate we are moving in the right direction going into 2024. Joe
Yeah.
Rockey for Allegheny County Executive.
Yeah, it'll be a political earthquake. That'll be awesome.
Yes.
Well, gang, as you can see, Scott is the real deal. He's the exemplar of effective political activism. Make sure to follow him on Twitter. He's got an amazing Twitter account. Get deeply involved in the races coming up just weeks from now. Click on that link below, the links that we have to get involved. Scott, my friend, seriously, I am totally serious when I say this. You are a hero, my friend. You're an absolute hero. Thank you so much for what you do, and God bless you in everything that you do.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to celebrating with you on Tuesday, November 7th.
Awesome. You bet, Scott. Thank you.